Can NVIDIA save the market? Hello everyone, this is Ahmed Saleh and this is the weekly market recap. And now to the key messages. Last week was a flat week, but it was a very volatile week. We are now below the 21 days moving average and we are holding above the 50-day moving average. Closing below the 50-day moving average is a very bad sign. There are several key stocks that have suffered major losses, especially in the crypto and in the quantum stock. We have seen a reversal signal that emerged on Friday, similar to the one that we had last week. So maybe on Monday the reversal will continue. All eyes now are on NVIDIA results next week. This can determine to a great extent if the market will continue its volatility or we will go up or we will go down. So last week it was a flat week. We had 0.1% on the S&P and minus 0.5% on the Nasdaq. The major losses was in the Russell 2000 with minus 1.9%. The year is still holding very well. The government shutdown is now over, finally. It was the longest government shutdown in history with 43 days of shutdown. We had major losses in some stocks, especially in the crypto and the quantum stocks. Bitcoin went down by 11%, Ethereum by 13%, MSTR 20%, and we had also some major losses in the nuclear energy, like SMR minus 26% and Oklo minus 15%. That's on top of the major losses that happened last week. Also, some other stocks that were doing very well during the year, they went down also throughout the last week. It does not appear on the index because the index is influenced by the mega cap, and the mega cap didn't have major correction. We are now down to 2.5% from the all-time high in the S&P, but the index is not reflecting what is happening in the majority of stocks. So moving on to the watch outs that we have talked about in the last couple of weeks, we still need to take care of these watch out. We were about to close below the 50 days moving average for the first time since the tariff correction, but we managed to close above it. Similar to what happened last Friday when we were trying to close below the moving average and then we closed above. This is not a good sign because every time we touch the 50 days moving average, it gets weaker. Finally, the stock market will be breaking below that moving average. Now let's see, it's a different picture on the equal weight. On the equal weight, we are already below the 50 days moving average and the 21 days moving average. And even the 21 days moving average is crossing down the 50 days moving average. This is not a good sign, so we have to be careful about that. It is telling us that the majority of stock is now below the moving average 50, and it's an indication that the mid-term investors are now getting out of the market. Let's see the collection of the Magnificent Seven. So these are the 7 stocks that are constituting about 40% of the S&P 500. It is already below the moving average 50. So this is not a good sign. And it might pull down the S&P 500 below the moving average 50. Let's see if this will happen next week. The new high, new low. It's a similar picture for last week. Almost like 80% new low for both this week and last week, and the same for the companies below the 50 days moving average, more or less the same, and the same for the companies below the moving average 200, more or less the same percentage. So nothing really happened in the last week in this regard. Moving on to the VIX is also flat versus last week. Next week, we will start to get some reports after the government went back to work. On Thursday, we have the September job report. We're expecting 4.3%. So anything around this number is not going to make a major move into the market because this is September. We should look for newer data in October job report and October CPI. There are still no clue when these reports are going to be out. On the result, NVIDIA, watch out for this. It can really decide where the market is going. It is not enough for it to be a good result. It has to be above the expectation and beating the expectation by good margin. If it is not beating the expectation, then most probably the stock will suffer and then the market will suffer. It is the biggest company in the S&P and in the Nasdaq, around 8% of the S&P. Thursday, we have Walmart. And why Walmart is important? Because it gives an indication about the spending of the consumers in the United States. And this is very important to decide if the economy is good or not. My trading strategy, I'm going to wait to see if we have a reversal upward on Monday, like similar to what we have last Monday. I don't expect anything major to happen in the market before Wednesday results for NVIDIA. So I'm going to wait for that. And if the market went down, then I'm going to short if we break below the low that we have seen on Friday. Thank you very much. If you have any question, please email it to the info@thepersonalfinanceacademy.com. And if you like the video, please press like, subscribe to the channel. This video is for educational purpose only and should not be considered as a financial advice. Any investment you make is at your own risk. Thank you very much.